guys, how's it going? Masterbucks here, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my Euro 2020 updated predictions. Yes, obviously, I did indeed do a prediction video before the group stage started and the whole tournament started. But now that all the group games have been played and we have an actual set round of 16, it's time for me to redo, with the new information that I have now gathered from watching the group stage, my round of 16 and knockout predictions. And here is the round of 16. We have Belgium taking on Portugal, Italy taking on Austria, France taking on Switzerland, and Croatia taking on Spain. That's one side of it. Then we have Sweden taking on Ukraine, England taking on Germany, Netherlands taking on the Czech Republic, and Wales take on Denmark. It's time for me to re-predict the entire knockout stage. We got Belgium and Portugal. Now, Portugal, amazingly, the team that I predicted to make the final, I am now very hesitant to say they are going to even make the quarters. Belgium have definitely looked a lot better than Portugal have so far in this tournament. And Portugal have scored like 7 goals in this Euro tournament so far, 6 of which have been scored by, or at least assisted by, Cristiano Ronaldo. And yes, a lot of them have come through penalties. So despite the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo so far has been the player of the tournament, you can't, again, knock 5 goals and an assist no matter where they come from. It's not exactly like Cristiano Ronaldo is dragging this Portuguese team all the way as far as he can by himself. I mean, obviously the numbers are a little bit inflated with the penalties. If those spot kicks do indeed dry up, you wonder how they would go. Belgium are looking in form. They are looking dangerous. Portugal are a little out of sync, although again, the star players that Portugal have and the star players that Belgium have, this is one of the best games that we will get immediately in the round of 16. I would have picked Portugal before, but now, in all honesty, off of what I've seen, I'd probably have to give it to Belgium. So we're predicting Belgium to make it through to the next round. Italy versus Austria. Again, I'm going to try not to be too disrespectful, but it's the same thing. Again, I feel like I'm going to end up going with the team that has definitely impressed me the most so far. I would give Austria a little bit more, but I feel so confident about this pick. Oh, just watch them. Just watch them lose it now. I'm getting too cocky. France versus Switzerland. Now, I tell you what, France obviously, on paper, are going to have the much, much better team. But Switzerland have actually had, I think they've created more chances, they've taken more shots, and they've looked almost in their group and in their games more threatening than France really have. And I know that might be a bold statement to say, but I mean, even with that all being said, I know that I'm at the moment with my last 2 picks, I'm picking form teams, but on this one, I think the overwhelming quality of France surely has to be the go here. Then finally, we have Croatia and Spain. Croatia obviously had a slower start against England, and then maybe not the greatest game ever against the Czech Republic, and Scotland really went out with, aside from one sort of tougher game against England, they went out with a little bit of a whimper, not much. So I don't know how good Croatia's opponents have been. Meanwhile, with Spain have faced a decent Swedish side, a pretty lackluster Slovakian team, and then a Polish team that didn't really do much either. So this is hard. This is actually a hard pick. Both teams coming off the back of wins here, but I think Spain's 5-0 hammering will feel pretty damn good, and I think they'll get it together, and I'm going to give it to them. So Spain to knock out Croatia. Moving on to the other side of the round of 16 spectrum, and we've got Sweden versus Ukraine. Sweden have looked class. We know Ukraine have ability, but maybe they haven't been as great as they could be. So I think I might just give this one to Sweden pretty quickly, because I'm going to have to move on to this game, England and Germany, and oh my God, this is just, again, incredibly tough pick. I had England and Germany meeting in the quarterfinals in my earlier predictions, and I gave it to England with the game being played at Wembley. Now, we do have this exact game. It is being played at Wembley. The fans will be in the attendance, and England-Germany will be a special time, and God, man, I don't know. Both of these teams, again, are not playing to the absolute best that they could be, and England are very clearly, you could tell from the last game they played against the Czech Republic, that they are now setting up to basically hit Germany on the counter. I don't think England have been absolutely dreadful in this tournament either. I think a lot of people are a bit disappointed, or at least fans of the team, knowing how many great, young, exciting players they have, and the brand of football they're playing is maybe a little bit lackluster or not as, attacking. But if it gets the job done, ultimately, are you going to complain? Because I don't know if you can play super attacking football against Germany and it's going to yield the best result possible. And look, with Germany only just scraping by, and the fact that they nearly lost to Hungary to not even make the round of 16, and the fact that they're playing away, I think there's a few things to go against Germany here, and I just have a feeling. I am going to go and say England again. I'm giving it to England again. Now we've got the Netherlands versus the Czech Republic. The Netherlands obviously did great in their group, topping it. Czech Republic, I think, surprised a few people with a good performance there against Scotland, and yeah, it was a bit mixed against Croatia, obviously, there, but still though, I think the Netherlands, maybe some people might be sleeping on them a little bit, because they were fantastic in their group as well. I mean, Memphis Depay was sensational, Gini Wijnaldum as well, Frenkie de Jong. I'm going to go Netherlands for me. Netherlands to make it through to the next round. And the final round of 16 game is Wales versus Denmark. Now, Wales have got themselves a really good shot here of making the quarterfinals and almost going as deep as they did in the last Euros, when I didn't even think they'd get out the group. I had Denmark making it at least to the quarterfinals, but then they nearly didn't get out the group, so this is a super interesting game. Wales have definitely looked a lot better than I think a lot of people gave them credit for. Denmark had to overcome a massive hurdle. Obviously, with seeing what happened to their teammate like that, it's going to shock any human being. But they were able to come back and pull themselves out of the group and into the round of 16. It's such a commendable thing, honestly. It goes beyond football. And I honestly think this is going to be one of the toughest games to pick, because Wales, who have played with almost no possession in this tournament, trying to break and hit teams on the counter. Denmark have had a decent amount of possession in the games that they've played, and I think have got more than double the amount of total shots or attempts on goal and chances created than Wales have in the 3 games in the group. So it just really comes down to, ultimately, can Denmark break down Wales and score and win the game that way, or can Wales get the counter-attack, break, and win that way? It is so tough. Do we back Denmark to be able to break Wales down, or will Wales, I don't know, hit them on a fast break and just cheese their way into the quarterfinals? Oh, Wales, you had a good run last time, but I'm going to give this one to Denmark. I mean, come on, let's get a real good feel-good story going at these Euros with Denmark here. Now then, quarterfinals. We have got Belgium versus Italy. Oh man, we got 2 class teams with in-form players here. Oh, this is going to be something. This is going to be something. I think a decent amount of people would have Italy here as their favorites. Strong defense, haven't conceded a single goal, won all of their games. Belgium too have been another fantastic team, and it's just, oh man. If we're just going off starting 11s, I think Belgium's, just in terms of quality, is probably better than Italy. But I think despite the fact that Belgium's starting 11 in terms of just their players maybe beats Italy's, I think Italy are definitely a much more cohesive unit. They know exactly what the assignment is. So this is, again, so tough. I reckon just because Italy have maybe got a slightly stronger defense and they've created more chances throughout the tournament. Oh, God. I just feel like this is now or never for Belgium. Like, if they're ever going to win anything, really, in the next God knows how many decades, it's got to be now. But I'm going to give this one to Italy. I think Italy is going to make it all the way to the semi-finals, baby. And their opponent, will it be France or will it be Spain? Well, I'm already leaning to one again. One thing as well that might be worth noting is that both France and Spain, when it comes to teams toward, like, some of the better teams in the competition, France and Spain have got quite a few disciplinary issues. There've been a lot of yellow cards dished out. So both of these teams could be missing some pretty good players. In which case, maybe depth is going to have to come into it a little bit more. Obviously, France has got Spain covered in that scenario. I think Spain will have had a much tougher assignment taking down Croatia than France would have had trying to take down Switzerland. But God, I just get the feeling you already know who I'm going to pick, don't you? Spain are good, but I think it would be quite crazy for me not to pick them over France, if you know what I mean. So France to make it through. Now for the other 2 quarterfinals, and would you look at this? We have Sweden versus England again, just like they played each other in the quarterfinals of the World Cup last time out. England clearly got the better of Sweden on that occasion, but this time, honestly, I think obviously England would be riding super high off the back of beating Germany, and Sweden would have only had to have gotten through Ukraine. It's maybe not the same there, but I mean, Sweden are definitely, I think, a much better team than what they were 2-3 years ago. Isak, Forsberg, they continue to do their things. They could be very, very good. But, oh man, I still think I might hand this one over to England again. Sweden are on the up. England, if they get the win against Germany, clearly must have had a bit of an improvement in terms of form off of the group stage. So if I'm saying England are going to beat Germany, then England are going to beat Sweden as well. That's at least how I see it. And the last one is Denmark versus Netherlands, or Netherlands versus Denmark, whatever. This is maybe, I think, as far as Denmark could possibly go. Again, making the quarters is great, but I think Netherlands are, again, one of those fine teams with great players, in form, doing brilliantly. So I'm going to give this one to the Netherlands to make them go through. And the semi-finalists, Italy, France, England, Netherlands, Italy, France. Who makes the final here? I mean, again, France could possibly make another major international final after winning the World Cup in 2018. Or is it Italy's time to maybe make a final for the first time since, what would it be, 2006, but they also came so close to winning a Euro, what, 8-9 years ago in 2012? Maybe this time. I think one thing France was missing in the group was like trying to get Benzema going, and he's finally, obviously now at the end of the group, scored a penalty, got a goal from open play in the game against Portugal. So if he's firing, that could be very big for France. But I think Ciro Immobile for Italy has also been magnificent and one of the better players in the tournament so far. You got Locatelli, you got Jorginho. Man, I know a lot of people would probably say, okay, Italy, obviously, you know, they're this very hyped up team right now, but France are France, man. They've got so much class and quality. Like, surely you got to go for them. Man, I would, but I just don't know. Something about this Italian team, it feels special. It does. But then again, I'm thinking of their group versus what France had to go through. France had to play 3 seriously tough teams, including Hungary, in their group. Italy really did not have to face much of a challenge, and I don't know, they had to play Austria in the round of 16 according to this, and their only first tough game was against Belgium, but they managed to get through. You know what, I'm sorry Italy, but I'm gonna do it. Oh, I really hope I don't regret this. I really hope I don't regret this. I'm giving it to France. I was so confident I was gonna go the whole way with Italy and at least get them to the final. But at the last second, when France rocks up, I just don't know. I feel like if I'm predicting France to get this far, then they would have, I don't know. I think they might be on a revenge mission for the last Euro competition. Yes, I'm really predicting France to make 3 international major tournaments in a row. Finals. That's wild. I don't know the last teams that would have done that, but seriously, this French team is so special that they could do it. Especially when you consider the fact that we haven't really even seen much from like Kylian Mbappe and some other very good French players in this team. So if they get going, they could get a hell of a lot better. But moving on now anyway to the other semi-final, England versus the Netherlands. Again, when I think of England, I think on paper, maybe their starting 11 tops Netherlands starting 11, and at least in terms of depth, they definitely top them as well. But if we're talking about the elite performers in this tournament so far, or at least in the group stage, when I think of England, I don't think of too many. Calvin Phillips has been decent. Saka had a good game. But we have no idea who the hell is going to play in this English team. The Netherlands, from the looks of things, have definitely got their starting 11 pretty well sorted out. Mason Mount, I suppose, has been okay for England too so far as well. But the Netherlands, man, have had Depay play great. Wijnaldum played great. De Jong is, even though he hasn't like scored or assisted, I think he's been tremendous. De Ligt down back's been pretty big as well. I'm honestly thinking, yeah, wow. I know that the Netherlands would have had a much easier ride to get to this point. They would have had to take down the Czech Republic and Denmark. Meanwhile, England would have had to have beaten Germany and a pretty tough Swedish team. England would be battle tested, but the Netherlands, man, this is so tough. This is so tough. Yep, that's it. I'm giving it to the Netherlands. The Netherlands, ladies and gentlemen, to make the final. At the end of the day, I can only go off of what I have seen from the group stages so far. And what I've seen from the Netherlands has impressed me a hell of a lot more than what I've seen from the English, even if I'm being optimistic for England to get better and to do big things in the knockouts, like take out Germany. I still, on this occasion, am backing the Dutch. And on top of that, I feel like England have got... They've got this barrier as a nation, right? They just can't make finals anymore. I don't know. So it's gonna take something monumental to get over that hurdle. They're always yakking on about 96, right? Well, if you couldn't make the final in 96, this team, which is good, and with Southgate at the helm, I'd be surprised if that team went further, especially again of what I have seen now. So France and the Netherlands are the teams that make the final. Would not have expected, even though I think the Netherlands have been playing great, I'm surprised that they have made it all the way to the final, even in my own picks. France making it that far, I'm not surprised by. And if I had bigger balls, maybe I'd have gone with Italy. But regardless, would France win this game or would the Netherlands win this game? If France won this and they would have, you know, made up for their loss in the Euros in 2016, that have made 3 international finals in a row, major international competition finals in a row. And if they had won the whole thing, we would be talking about this French side as one of the best international teams ever. Right up there with Brazil featuring Pele, like that, maybe not that good, but right up there. These two teams haven't played each other for like 3 years, and even then they've only played each other like twice in the last 4 or 5, so it's really not possible to look at previous games as an indicator. So yeah, very tough call. France didn't play their best in a tough group versus Netherlands, who played great in a bit of an easier group. Netherlands had a bit of an easier run to get to the final as well. France had to knock off some really tough teams. So that makes me think, if that were the case, France would have been battle tested and played some really tough sides. Netherlands maybe have had some slightly weaker opposition, still made the final, but maybe France would be a little more in tune. Who knows? That's just my logic. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. And off of everything else, I think I'm ready to make my decision. Ladies and gentlemen, my new team to win Euro 2020 will be a team that has red, white, and blue stripes in its flag. Yeah, that doesn't give it away, does it? I'm giving it to France. France to win Euro 2020. Will they do it? Will it be these two in the final? Could Italy maybe knock out France? If Italy did knock out France, then I think that they would win it in the final. So, there we go. Oh, man. Like, seriously, it's funny how after watching the group stages and redoing the knockout stage, felt like doing the predictions this time was even harder. Like, I don't know why. But I've got to stand by my picks, don't I? So I'm going to say France, even though, again, what I have seen from France so far hasn't been super promising. I know that there is room for improvement. And I know that they won their group when, you know, they were playing against seriously tough opponents. So even if they're not playing great, for them to do that is still pretty big. Let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. My updated Euro 2020 predictions. I've now got France winning the whole thing with Netherlands making the final. 2 completely different teams. I've done Portugal out super early. Yeah, we will see. We'll just have to wait and see. Put in the comments too if you're still sticking by your picks or if you're adjusting kind of like what I've done based off of what you've seen, because I've switched it up hard. All I know is I am pumped for the knockout stage. Absolutely pumped. I can't wait for it. Till next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. My name is Master Bucks. Catch you next time, and bye-bye.